Hello again. I'm Mitzi Montoya, Dean of the UNM Anderson School of Management, and thank you for joining us for the second installment of our 32nd Annual Anderson Hall of Fame Business Leadership Series. Today we'll be celebrating our honorees and the community that supports the Anderson School of Management. As was the case in our first installment, today we're together to welcome another new Hall of Fame inductee as we continue to recognize the outstanding accomplishments of our exceptional alumni and raise much needed and appreciated scholarship funds to sustain current Anderson students as they pursue their degrees. We hope that you will find today's program inspiring and informative. So without further ado, let's start the show.
Hello again, I'm Crystal Collier, Senior Operations Manager. In honor of today's Hall of Fame inductee, we will be featuring marketing faculty throughout our program. We will get to hear about unique approaches, projects, techniques used, and most importantly, the success stories from within one of our most popular departments. Marketing faculty prepare students for a wide variety of careers that can contribute to the economic development and competitiveness of New Mexico and the U.S. Our faculty work with about 260 undergrad and 35 graduate students annually, and as we learned in our last program, they also develop and advise nationally recognized student competition teams. To get us started today, let us welcome Professor Dimitri Caplianas.
Hello, my name is Dimitri Caplianas, and I'm an Associate Professor of Marketing at Anderson, where I run the Center for Sales and Business Development. I want to share a story of how a group of my MBA students helped a one-man business, a New Mexico chimney sweep, double his revenues in a year. If you think about customer demand for chimney sweep services, it's all bunched up in time. The phone starts ringing with the first cold snap in October and doesn't stop ringing until February. And then for the rest of the year, he's twiddling his thumbs and singing Chim Chimmery from Mary Poppins. It's a classic problem of seasonal demand. My students knew that they could solve this problem using market segmentation and season-based price differentiation. They helped the chimney sweep split his market into two main segments: private residential customers and large rental apartment complexes. The apartment complexes were offered discounts for moving their business to the summer, the off-peak period, and the private residential customers were served during the peak period at full price. The students also developed a marketing campaign targeting fire departments, real estate agents, and property management companies to drive referrals. Finally, the students redesigned his website and social media campaigns to improve customer visibility and drive organic growth. For the past 7 years, my MBA students have been finalists in the National Small Business Institute Project of the Year competition. They've taken first place in the national competition 3 times, including in this case. The chimney sweep has now grown his business to 4 full-time employees, and he just completed his best year ever. This is the power of one Anderson.
Thank you, Dimitri. Now, let's introduce our second Hall of Fame inductee of 2021.
Greetings. I'm Margaret Rogers, and I'm the chair of Anderson's Marketing, Information Systems, Information Assurance, and Operations Management Department. I'm happy to introduce the second inductee into the Anderson Hall of Fame Class of 2021, Steve McKee. Steve McKee received his BBA in Marketing in Anderson's class of 1985. He is a co-founder of McKee, Wallwork & Company, a nationally recognized marketing advisory firm that specializes in generating new momentum for stalled, stuck, and stale organizations. Their clients include some of the nation's most powerful brands. The firm has twice been recognized by Advertising Age as Southwest Small Agency of the Year and is among the best places to work in advertising. Steve is the author of 2 books, Power Branding, Leveraging the Success of the World's Best Brands, and When Growth Stalls, How It Happens, Why You're Stuck, and What to Do About It. He is also a smart brief columnist. Steve is also a very accomplished runner and swimmer. Some of his daring feats are completing the famous Alcatraz swim, Colorado's challenging Horsetooth 10K run, a solo crossing of Loch Ness in Scotland, and winning 4 gold medals in the 2019 National Senior Games. On behalf of the Anderson School of Management, welcome Steve into the Hall of Fame.
It seems unreal that 40 years have passed since I showed up on campus for the first time. I have many vivid memories from my time on campus, including returning several times as a guest lecturer, which itself was incredibly gratifying. To complete this circle, if you will, from wide-eyed freshman to a member of the Hall of Fame is really something. I'm very proud of my company and the work we've done all over the nation. That said, I'm just the co-founder of a small business. I haven't discovered a cure for cancer, or landed on the moon, or risen to the top of a Fortune 500 organization. And I've had some spectacular failures in my career. So while I'm still unpersuaded that I deserve this recognition, I want to genuinely and sincerely thank Anderson for the honor.
Good morning, Steve.
Good morning.
Thank you for allowing us to be in this beautiful space.
You're welcome.
You mentioned you moved in here just last August, so congratulations.
Thank you.
It has
We
to
love
be a
it.
big milestone.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, cool. Can you tell us about yourself, your family, where you're from?
Born in Sheboygan. Do I have to say Wisconsin?
Yes.
Yeah, a lot of people know where Sheboygan is,
Yeah.
the bratwurst capital of the world. And we moved around the western part of the U.S., but my parents brought me here in the late 60s. Little known fact for UNM fans, the voice of the Lobos before Mike Roberts was my father.
Awesome.
So he ran KOB radio and did sports broadcasting and that sort of thing. Moved away twice, once when I was little and once after college. Came back twice, you know how this place is.
Yes.
And we've settled in here. We've got a wife of almost 35 years, 4 kids, 4 spouses, 6 grandchildren, and no pets.
Sounds like you're doing it right.
Yes.
That's awesome. So you mentioned moving away and back, but what brought you to UNM and Anderson?
You know, my kids are all grown up now, and I took each of them on their college tours. And let me just say that the world has changed.
Yes.
Right? I mean, to go to college now, it's like going to Club Med.
Right.
But back in the day, if I can say that, you know, there weren't as many options. If you weren't a D1 scholarship player or get a perfect ACT or SAT or come from wealth,
Right.
you didn't have as many options. And so I was able to land an academic scholarship at UNM, and that's all I needed. Just open that door a little bit, and I stepped right through it.
Yeah, I know we had a conversation before that Anderson was what you enjoyed about UNM.
Yeah, Anderson was my refuge. It felt normal. It felt regular to me, and I really enjoyed my time there.
Cool. So what is your most fun, one of your most fond memories from Anderson?
Can I give you 2?
Please. Please.
Well, I'll never forget the day that I was walking across campus and I got stopped by several people and congratulated for reasons I didn't know. Congratulations, congratulations. And sooner or later I stopped one of them. I said, for what? And it turns out that I had pledged a fraternity and then I had de-pledged. I never became a fraternity member. But apparently that week at the Greek dinner, I won the scholarship award for my fraternity. It wasn't my fraternity.
How nice of you.
How nice of them. They kept me on their rolls for my grades. So
funny.
Scandal.
Yeah.
Big scandal. I thought that was really funny.
Yeah.
I thought that was hilarious.
Congratulations.
But, yes, thank you.
You're welcome.
I don't know if I got anything.
Right.
Because I wasn't there.
Maybe.
Maybe somebody took it.
Right.
At Anderson, I remember being in marketing class with Professor George Hosier, who was one of my favorite professors. And he made us a deal that he said, I don't remember if it was if you have perfect attendance or if you don't miss a test or something, you don't have to take the final exam. Well, one of my good friends was getting married in Atlanta and asked me to be his best man. I'm not going to say no to that. So I was going to miss some. And I went to Professor Hosier and I pled my case, and he was heartless, of course, in a friendly way. So I took it upon myself to write a case study about a company called Best Man Enterprises. And I wrote the case study and made my case in the case study. And I thought, even if the case study's no good, the guy's got to give me credit.
Right. Right.
And he did. He gave me credit for it, but he still made me take the final exam. He was merciless.
So it didn't quite work out.
Didn't quite work out, but I think I still have the paper somewhere.
I was
should
going to
pull it out
ask
and
that.
read it. Yeah.
It had to have come to some use, even if you didn't.
I had a good time at the wedding.
Okay. Steve, you shared with us that you had a bit of a revelation right after graduating. Could you share that with us?
Sure. It was actually about a year and a half into my career. I was living in Phoenix at the time, working for a big multinational agency, West Coast headquarters in LA, so I'd go regularly to the office and back and forth. And here's me, a guy from Albuquerque, living in Phoenix, and the office on Wilshire Boulevard. And the people surrounding me were all Stanford, UCLA, USC, or East Coast grads. And, you know, you look at your shoes a lot when you're, it's kind of intimidating. But it wasn't long or too many meetings before, and I don't remember the day, but I do remember the realization where I realized that they didn't get any better of an education than I did. And I stood up a little straighter and I thought, I can do this. All the stuff they're talking about, I know. Yeah. I learned it too. I learned it at UNM. I learned it at the Anderson School. And I don't have to apologize for being a kid from Albuquerque, you know, that went to UNM. I got a really good education there. And I've been proud of that ever since. And after that point, it's kind of interesting because I managed to work my way into a position at the leading ad agency in Phoenix at that time. And that was another immense, wonderful learning experience. It was the first time I ever pitched a national account against an international agency and won. Wow. I'm 24 years old. Right. I'm 25 years old. That's huge. Yeah. And I'm like, I know how to do this, you know? Right. And that was one of the things that the job ended up not being a great job. It wasn't a good cultural fit. Learned a lot, of course. That was one of the things that enabled me to consider coming home. Okay. Because I thought, all right, I think I'm as well equipped as these people and I'm pretty good at what I do. So now the question is, where do I want to do it? Right. And when we had our first baby, we decided that grandparents and cousins were important. Absolutely. That Four Seasons and cottonwood trees mattered. Yes. Our church was here. And we just felt like we're going to make a go of it in Albuquerque. I had met Peter Stracina, who's one of my mentors, who ran one of the leading firms in town then. We had several conversations when I'd come home to visit. And I called him up one day and I said, I think I'm ready to come home. And he said, I'll make a job for you. Awesome. And worked there for 7 years, and then we ended up launching this place 23, 24 years ago. Wow. Yeah. And the rest is history. Yeah. That's awesome to think about. What has been your most meaningful work? So one of our core beliefs here is that life is about relationships. Therefore, business is about relationships. So I think the most satisfying thing is the relationships. I mean, we've worked with Visit Albuquerque for 2 decades. And, we've done work for Dion's and Presbyterian and so many wonderful local companies with whom I formed relationships. I look at them sometimes and I say, you know, we met however many years ago, and who knew that we were going to raise our kids together and that we were going to go through. Right. That's the most gratifying, because in order for those relationships to succeed, you also have to fulfill your part of the bargain. Right. So, I mean, I could list for you campaign after campaign that I'm proud of. Right. But it's the net total impact. French Funerals and Cremations, the relationships we have there. They're our client. They've done so much more for us than we could ever do for them. Just wonderful people. Right. And that's what makes life life. Absolutely. Okay, I think that we are on our last one, and this one is important. What one piece of advice would you give current students at Anderson? Well, anybody who knows me would expect me to say learn how to write, because that's my thing. It's a thing, yeah. That if you can write, you can do anything. Mm-hmm. If you can't write, you can't do anything, because you are what you write. Lately, I've been thinking a lot about just the concept of truth and how there's a lot of untruth around in our culture these days. Mm-hmm. And I would say to students, don't be deceived, manipulated, or misled by things that are not true, because there is truth, there is a God, there are absolute truths. Not your truth, the truth. And if you build your house on anything less than the truth, it's going to be a house of cards. So I would just encourage students to not be distracted or dissuaded by cultural shenanigans that are going on, but focus on what's real in their lives and in their world. And, you know, the truth may be disguised, it may be delayed, it may be obscured, it may be detoured, but it's gonna win always. Yeah. It's just a matter of time.
It is.
I think I would encourage them to seek the truth, pursue it.
No big ask. No big deal. Just seek the truth. Yeah. Well, thank you, Steve, so much.
Thank you. It's an honor.
Hi, I'm Lama Latif, Assistant Professor of Marketing at Anderson. Marketing faculty use a variety of tools and techniques that provide students with hands-on learning experiences and opportunities to apply the knowledge they've gained in class and to practice their critical thinking skills. In the core marketing class, students gain experience with research by participating in studies. These studies, conducted by Anderson faculty in our behavioral lab, allow students to learn about the process of conducting research in a controlled environment. They later take marketing research, in which students conduct their own research projects, including designing surveys and collecting and analyzing data. Students in the advertising campaigns and social media and content marketing courses use Adobe Creative Cloud tools such as Photoshop and Premiere Pro to create social media content and award-winning ads. Students also learn how to use Hootsuite, the leading social media management platform, and they can earn Hootsuite platform and social marketing professional certifications. In digital marketing, students learn how to develop and implement an online marketing strategy by creating a blog and monitoring its performance throughout the semester. The class also uses a simulation that teaches students online marketing skills, including creating and optimizing pay-per-click campaigns and practicing A/B testing, email marketing, and keyword research. Finally, the marketing department has a Center for Sales and Business Development that gives students real-world sales experiences. The center also provides access to guest speakers, internships, national competitions, scholarships, and rewarding careers upon graduation. By using these practical tools and techniques, we prepare our students for the real world through enjoyable and rewarding learning experiences.
Hello again, I'm Eddie Padilla, and I'm the chair of the Anderson Foundation Board. I'm here because I want to give hope to other folks like myself. My mom believed in education and making it a priority for my sister and me, regardless of our resources and the distractions we faced. And through it all, my family stayed the course. We both graduated from Anal and UNM and are better for it. Throughout its history, the Anderson School of Management has relied on gifts to help students receive a quality business education that will help them achieve their dreams. To donate to the Anderson School Hall of Fame Fund, click on the link in the video description. There are other ways to give as well, such as serving on an advisory board. Let us help you find a way to give that is also meaningful to you. Thank you for being the difference in a student's future.
Hi, I'm Nick Griffith, and I would like to talk about the positive impact that your donation has had on my education, especially during this ongoing coronavirus pandemic. 2020 was a horrible year, and the loss that we've experienced has been enormous. Personally, I lost my uncle, and my grandfather was diagnosed with cancer. We also lost my partner's grandfather to cancer last year. And because of the safety restrictions, family was not allowed to be there with him. While this was hard enough to process, I was also working 2 jobs to make ends meet and to pay for tuition to finish my MBA in marketing. Due to the pandemic, I lost one of my positions because we normally deal with a large in-person audience. Between unemployment laws and maintaining my first job, I wasn't allowed to collect any money from the government. This forced me to sacrifice attending Anderson to pay for pre-existing bills. I really didn't know when I would be able to enroll again, but there was a light in the darkness. Everything changed when I was awarded the Hall of Fame scholarship. I still haven't been allowed to head back to work, but this scholarship allowed me to graduate this winter. It was a pivotal time in my education, and your donations really made the difference I needed. Thank you for your continued support of Anderson and my classmates. You are the positive change that we need in the world right now. Please consider contributing to Anderson, because your donation will help us persevere through this darkness.
Hello, I'm Katherine Roster, Professor of Marketing Management and Research at UNM Anderson. Anderson students, mentored by marketing faculty, have been taking top honors in national competitions for years now. These competitions, managed by Adventure Partners, challenge student teams from dozens of top-flight colleges and universities across the nation to design, implement, and measure success of promotional campaigns created for major U.S. corporations and institutions. Teams who make it to the finals present their work to a panel of judges that include industry experts and members of the sponsor's senior executive team. And since we began competing in 2005, Anderson teams have been to finals every year. Our winning record is unbeatable. Anderson teams have earned 9 first-place honors, 5 second-place finishes, and 2 honorable mentions. Our most recent win was in 2019, when a team of our undergraduate marketing students took the #1 spot in the Acura Marketing Challenge. In this challenge, student teams were tasked with educating consumers on the features and benefits of the 2019 Acura ILX Sport Sedan, boosting Acura's perception as an innovative, youthful brand, and increasing purchase consideration. To address this challenge, students in UNM's Advertising Campaigns class, led by professors John Benavides and Nick Floor, created the Made You Look campaign that included digital video, digital signage, social media communications, and 2 experiential events on the UNM campus for attendees to connect with the Acura brand and get a first-hand look at the new 2019 ILX. And we went at home in New Mexico too. Anderson student marketing projects have garnered 10 awards from the New Mexico American Marketing Association and the American Advertising Federation of New Mexico. And for these reasons, Anderson marketing faculty and students alike can proudly say, "Marketing rocks!"
Thanks so much for joining us for today's program. The support of our alumni, like those featured in this series, and like you who are watching right now, is critical to the success of our current Anderson students. So I encourage you to visit our website and learn more about how you can give, serve, mentor, hire, connect, recruit, or advise to help the next generation achieve what our alumni exemplify. I also invite you to connect with us on social media so that we can continue to celebrate and strengthen the Anderson family. We are halfway through our series, and I look forward to joining you for our next program on April 6th at 4:30 p.m. as we welcome another deserving alumnus into the Anderson Hall of Fame. Stay safe and see you then.